So this is our first try at flipping the classroom. We'll see how it goes. I have no idea if you'll be able to download what we're doing or not. I certainly hope you can. So let's give it a try and hopefully everything works out right. The first thing we're learning about is finding limits by graphing. When I want to find a limit, here's my example. A limit as x approaches -7 of 4x plus 1 using a graph. We're going to be just sort of using a table and a graph to kind of figure out how things go. So I'm looking at my graph of 4x plus 1, and I've made a table and I've actually graphed it, or you could graph it using slope-intercept form. It said we were concerned about when x gets closer to -7. So if x is getting closer to -7, that means that we're looking at the x value right here. And let's try doing that. Okay, so at x equals -7. So if I'm looking at x equals -7, I want to see what's happening with the graph as we get closer and closer to -7. I want to figure out what the y value is when we get closer and closer to -7. And we can see if I look at the graph that if I come over here, it's exactly at -27 based on what we can find with the graph. If I look at my table, I can make a table of values. And if I look at my table of values, I can put the numbers in for x and find out as x approaches -7 of, remember, we're using the function f of x equals 4x plus 1. So if I'm looking at f of x equals 4x plus 1, I will have my function, and I could put in -7.01, and I could put in -7.001. And I could also go on the other side of -7 and have -6.99 and -6.9. Notice that as I get closer and closer to -7, I want to see what it's going to approach. Well, if I look at the y value here, the y value is -26.996. If I look at the y value over here, I get -27.004. So if I look and I want to know what is going to happen when it's at -7, looking from the table of values, it's actually going to be -27 because -27 is in between the two y values. So that tells me that that's going to be my limit. And if we look at the answer, the pattern shows that as we get closer and closer to -7 from both the left and the right, which means numbers bigger than -7 and numbers less than -7, f of x, which is our y value, gets closer and closer to -27. So I'm going to stop this now and see if this has recorded correctly and attach it to the website. Hopefully that will all work. If so, then we'll pick up where we left off with this particular problem and catch up with the rest of the stuff that we're going to be doing.